End of this class for this course, plantain farming. This is module 8 for the course plantain farming, and the topic that we'll be discussing in this module is plantain farming and processing, the step-by-step guide for plantain farming and processing. So this is the 8th video, which implies that we only have 2 more videos to round up this course. So for the contents of the module, we'll be looking at the meaning and importance of plantain processing. We'll look at the meaning and importance of plantain processing. Then we'll also look at plantain farming and processing workflow. And afterwards, we'll move on to the basic stage of plantain processing. And we'll also look at storage and distribution of processed plantain products. After that, we'll also look at the topic packaging and branding techniques. And lastly, for this module, we'll be looking at hygiene standards in food processing. So these are the topics that give us around this module that make up this module that we'll be discussing in this module. So now let's move on to the introduction to the module. So when we are talking about plantain processing, to cultivate plantain cultivation is actually an important aspect of agriculture because it contributes to significantly to food security and rural livelihoods. Many farmers actually cultivate plantain on small and large scales for household consumption and commercial purposes. I believe we have actually been discussing this over and over and again. When we are talking about plantain farming, be it a small or large scales plantain farming. So now the crop grows well in areas with adequate rainfall, fertile soil and warm temperatures, making it suitable for many regions in tropical climates. Plantain farming, however, it provides employment opportunities for farmers, for traders, for transporters, processors and marketers within the agricultural value chain. So now let's move on to the main to the topics that we'll be discussing in this module one after the other. We said we'll be looking at the meaning and importance of plantain processing. Now when we are talking about plantain processing, what does this mean? It actually refers to the various methods that is used to transform fresh plantain fruits into different food products for consumption, storage and commercial purposes. Just as the name implies, processing now refers to different methods or procedures or systems that we can apply to actually process our foods, our plantain. Let's limit it to just plantain, not just food now. To our plantain food to become into different food products for consumption, for storage and commercial purposes. So we'll be looking at these methods. However, we have discussed the meaning. Now let's move on to the importance of this processing. However, plantain processing involves activities such as peeling, slicing, drying, frying, milling, roasting, boiling, or packaging plantain into forms that are easier to preserve, transport, and sell. So these are different ways that this processing can come for. And that can come in. It can come as a through peeling. We can peel it, we can slice it, we can dry it, we can fry it, we can mill it, we can roast it, we can actually boil it also, and even package it so that it will be easier to preserve and even to transport and sell. So now plantain processing is important because it actually helps extend the shelf life of plantain, which is highly perishable after harvesting. We've talked about it as plantain is perishable, so it does not take much time. It can be preserved for a longer time, for a long duration. So it is expected within a period of time to actually rot if it is not getting to the proper hand on time. So now plantain processing is important because it will help to extend the life shelf of plantain, because it is highly perishable after harvesting. So through processing, farmers and traders can actually reduce the post-harvest losses. After harvesting, the farmers and even the traders or the business, those that are using it for business also, they know that the plantain has a shorter period of time compared to when it was still in the farm. So when it was not yet harvested, so the post-harvest reduced loss they have to is there, so they have to consider that and preserve the crop for longer periods. So another importance of plantain processing is that it adds economic value to the crop also. Now let's move on to the next topic in this module, which is plantain farming and processing workflow. Now, plantain farming and processing will actually involve a series of activities carried out from land preparation to the production of finished plantain products. The workflow helps farmers and processors maintain quality, improve productivity, and reduce waste. So let's look at this processing workflow. We have land preparation. The process begins with selecting fertile, well-drained soil suitable for plantain cultivation. The land is cleared, ploughed, and prepared for planting. Proper spacing is marked to ensure healthy plant growth and easy farm management. Then afterwards, the next workflow is to the next processing is to plant suckers. So that is planting of suckers. Healthy and disease-free plantain suckers are selected and planted. Farmers actually plant at the beginning of the rainy season to ensure adequate moisture for growth. And the next one on this plantain farming and process workflow is farm maintenance. Regular maintenance activities are carried out to ensure healthy plant development. This might include weeding, mulching, fertilizer application, irrigation when necessary, pest control, and so on and so forth, and even removal of unhealthy suckers. So we have been saying this over and over again in the contents of this module of this course called plantain farming. Then we move on to harvesting. Under harvesting, we have that plantain bunches are harvested when they reach maturity, definitely. So proper harvesting methods help prevent damage to the fruit and maintain quality. Then next, followed by sorting and cleaning, processing, packaging and storage, marketing and distribution. These are how so after harvesting, you sort and clean. So harvested things are sorted according to their sizes, their ripeness and quality. So the fruits are washed and cleaned before processing begins. Now during the processing, plantains are processed into different products such as chips, flour, roasted plantain or puree. So processing methods may include the peeling, slicing, drying, frying, grinding, or packaging, depending on the intended products that we are using it to do. So now packaging and storage, that's the next process, which is processed plantain products are packaged in clean and safe materials to preserve quality. Some packages in nylon, white nylon, transparent nylon, all those kind of branded nylon and so on. Now another one is marketing and distribution. After that, finished products are transported and sold to consumers, to retailers, supermarkets or export markets. Effective marketing actually increases sales and business growth. Now let's move on to the next subtopic in this module. We have the basic stage of plantain processing. The basic stage, talking about the basic stages of plantain processing, we have the intermediate stage of plantain processing, advanced stage of plantain processing. So at the intermediate stage, improved tools and equipment are introduced to increase efficiency and production. Machines such as slicers, grinders, dryers, and fryers may be used. Products are packaged more professionally and processing is usually done for commercial purposes. At the advanced stage of plantain processing, this actually involves modern industrial processing techniques and large-scale production. Automated machines are used for peeling, slicing, drying, frying, milling, and packaging. Now, quality control, branding, and food safety standards are mostly emphasized. Products may be produced for supermarkets, export markets, and food industries. Advanced processing increases productivity. It increases productivity, reduces waste, and improves profitability. Now, let's move to storage of processed plantain products. So how can we store processed plantain products now? Processed plantain products should be stored in clean, dry, and well-ventilated environments. This is very essential. Moisture and excessive heat can reduce product quality and encourage the growth of mold and bacteria. Products such as plantain flour should be kept in airtight container or sealed packaging materials to prevent contamination and moisture absorption. Now, plantain chips and fried products, on the other hand, they should be stored in moisture-proof packaging to maintain crispness and prevent acidity caused by exposure to air. Storage areas should also be protected from rodents, insects, and direct sunlight. Proper labeling with production and expiry dates helps ensure good inventory management and consumer safety. This is another. We have the temperature control, which is also important for some processed plantain products. Cool storage conditions actually help extend shelf life and preserve flavor and texture. Regular inspection of stored products helps in identifying spoilage or damage early. Now let's move on to the next subtopic in this module, which is distribution of processed plantain products. The distribution involves transporting processed plantain products from producers to consumers, retailers, wholesalers, supermarkets, restaurants, or export markets, and so on. So proper packaging is important during distribution to prevent physical damage and contamination. So products should be transported in clean vehicles and handled carefully to actually avoid caution or exposure to moisture and dirt. Efficient distribution systems will actually help products reach markets quickly while maintaining quality. Good transportation networks and proper logistics also reduce losses and improve customer satisfaction. Now, marketing and distribution channels may include local markets, retail shops, online sales platforms, food vendors, and export businesses. Effective distribution increases product availability and business profitability. Now, let's move on to the next subtopic, which is food safety and quality control. These are essential aspects of plantain processing and distribution. We should be able to consider the food safety and quality control. They ensure that processed products are safe for consumption and meet acceptable standards of quality. Food safety practices include maintaining personal hygiene, using clean equipment, washing raw materials properly, and preventing contamination during processing and packaging. Workers should wear clean protective clothing such as gloves, aprons, and hair coverings while handling food products. Now, quality control involves the monitoring the appearance, the taste, the texture, packaging, and shelf life of processed plantain products. Products should be inspected regularly to ensure they meet customer expectations and regulatory standards. Proper quality control also includes checking for moisture content, oil quality in fried products, and the absence of harmful microorganisms. Now let's move on to the next subtopic, which is packaging and branding techniques. To package, how can we package our processed foods, processed plantains, brand, and also the branding? The packaging refers to the process of enclosing processed plantain products in suitable materials for protection, storage, transportation, and marketing. Good packaging will actually helps preserve the quality, freshness, taste, and shelf life of plantain products such as chips, flour, and roasted plantains. It also helps protect products from moisture, dust, insects, and physical damage during storage and distribution. Branding involves creating a unique identity for processed plantain products. This is branding. I believe you know what we can differentiate between packaging and branding now. It's branding has to do with creating a outstanding or the unique identity for the products, for the processed plantain products. It includes the use of brand names, logos, labels, colors, slogans, and attractive packaging designs that help consumers recognize and trust the products. Effective branding helps products stand out in competitive markets and increases customer loyalty. Good branding should provide important products information such as the ingredients, the nutritional value, production date, the expiry date, manufacturer details, storage instruction, and contact information. Now let's move on to the next subtopic, which is the hygiene standards in food processing. Hygiene standards in food processing are the rules and practices that are followed to ensure that food products are clean, they are safe, and free from contamination. So maintaining proper hygiene is very important in plantain processing because poor hygiene can lead to food spoilage, health problems, and loss of customers' confidence. So you don't want to take hygiene with levity, and you have to take it serious as someone that is looking to vent into plantain farming, and not only plantain farming, plantain processing. Now, personal hygiene is one of the key hygiene standards in food processing. Workers should wash their hands regularly, wear clean clothes, hair coverings, gloves, and aprons while handling food products. Sick workers should definitely avoid direct contact with food to prevent the spread of diseases. Processing equipment, utensils, and work surfaces should be cleaned and sanitized regularly to prevent contamination. The processing environment should also be kept clean, dry, and well ventilated. Water material should be disposed of properly to prevent pests such as flies and rodents. In conclusion, we have been able to establish that in this module that plantain farming and processing are very important agricultural activities that greatly contribute to food production, nutrition, employment creation, and economic development. Plantain actually serve as a major staple food and a valuable source of income for many farmers, processors, traders, and agribusiness owners. Through proper cultivation, harvesting, and processing practices, plantain can be transformed into various products that actually meet the needs of consumers while reducing post-harvest losses. So this will be the end for this module. We'll be moving on to the next. We'll be meeting in our next class, which is in module 9, where we'll be discussing the next important topic that of